There we go. Good morning. Welcome everybody to our weekly webinar. Today is our Axpro alarm setup. So we'll be having a little bit of a chat on that one to see how the operation works and, just to configure it, the basic things. I know there's a few of you that might have some questions. We'll have the Q&A after this recording and then, then we'll take the matter from there. Just want to double check that everybody can hear me. Yeah, there we go. All that is fine. That is fine. Good news. Ah, great. So that's going to be going into a noise the whole time. So let me just kill that noise and kill it there. Close. There we go. Let's try that baby again. Okay, are we on it? Are we not? We're not on it. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Let's reopen that. I like it. There we go. All right. So starting off with, obviously, we have gone through the alarm panel and some accessories, new things, etc., etc. So today we'll be discussing that operation side. So for those of you that are not familiar, my recommendation would be go back into a few of the videos. We have done this in last quarter. The next quarter that's coming out, there's some additional things. There's a new alarm system that's coming out. Some new features, etc., etc. So today we'll be discussing the Axpro version. Right. If it goes to the next page. There we go. All right. So communication, as you all know, we have the 868 megahertz frequency. Some of the devices on the older models are still using the 433, but obviously we are using the 868. Where is it now? There we go. Okay, there's all of it showing now. Right, so you can have your devices connected to your alarm panel. That will be over here. And then also you can interlink that with any other communication. So again, just to let you guys know about the communication. So it's got built-in LAN, built-in Wi-Fi, 2 SIM slots, and a comms port for a radio transmitter. So this allows us to basically connect it to a Wi-Fi connection that's, let's say, with a Wi-Fi dongle with Telkom as an example. And then we can have a physical internet connection that goes to, let's say, as an example, Web Africa. Thereafter, we can have 2 SIM cards, one, let's say, MTN and one Vodacom that's in there. Then we can also have the FSK radio connected into a serial port. So you have 5 devices for monitoring that you can connect up that can transmit to an ARC base station or to wherever you would like to monitor it from. So 5 different devices that you can use to be able to do that, which is very important. Very nice little feature. All right. So obviously we introduced a lot of the products and why and etc., etc. So today we'll be discussing the rest of it. Just to quickly give you a brief again. So I'm sure you all are familiar. And if you're not, like I mentioned, go back to the previous videos. So this is on the alarm panel front side. You have a tag reader in the front as well, a power indication, and some little LEDs to indicate what's going on, if there's a trouble condition or if there's any other problems. Right. At the back of it, when you open up and slide open a little box, then you'll see there's an on-off button here. You have your RJ45 connection that's in there. You also have your power connection that's in there. You have your tamper switch, you have a reset button, and then your comms cable is over there, and 2 slots for your SIM card. So very easy, very straightforward. And yes, I am looking that way. Reason being, the big screen is there, and it doesn't duplicate the little laser thingy like, there we go. Okay, it does. I didn't know that, sorry. It does, it works here and there now. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, next step. Right. So this wasn't in, I just quickly added this in this morning. Just the basic info. Like I said, we did this before, but obviously we're just expanding on it a bit more and, just giving a bit more additional information. So very simple. You turn that Axpro alarm panel on its back. So you look at the QR code in the back of it. You take your mobile phone once you have downloaded HIK Connect, you've installed it, etc., etc. Then you go basically and you open it up. It will give you that little icon there to show add a device. You click add, it will bring up the QR code. You'll scan the QR code of that device itself. Once you've done it, it will recognize that that QR code belongs to an Axpro alarm system. Once you recognize it, then you can select which connection you want. If you are installing company, my recommendation would be set up these devices under default at your office. If you would like to make it a bit easier, you can use the Wi-Fi hotspot that's on the device through your mobile phone. Some of the guys will go and say, oh, but you know, we install, but I don't have data, you know, that kind of stuff, and there's this and there's that. So best is set up the stuff. If you wanted to at your office, you can have it offsite as well through the hotspot, but it's up to you. You need to find what is best for your company to make it a bit easier and faster. Right, so once you have done your connection, as an example, here we have the Wi-Fi. So very importantly, as you can see, it will go through that connection and it will give you this option. Please take note, if you are using that hotspot little thing for connecting through the Wi-Fi, make sure that it's not under the 5G. Not 5G cell phone network. We're talking about 5 gigahertz for frequency. So your normal Wi-Fi antennas will have 2.4 or 5 gigahertz frequency. So this will not work through 5 gigahertz frequency. That's why I'm saying a lot of our phones nowadays don't give us the option to change our own mobile Wi-Fi to 2.4. So that's why I recommend doing it from the office through a LAN cable, getting it sorted out, or if you've got a laptop, doing it on site through the laptop. Great stuff. Anyway, right, moving along. Once it's connected, it's going to give you this little picture here to tell you it's counting down. Once the connection is done, it's going to pop up a little screen like this. Right. Whoops. There we go. So just to quickly show you that, scan, select. There we go. Put in your Wi-Fi. Yes, we know. All right, there we go. Scanning, picked up the Wi-Fi. Put the password in. Don't make your password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Doesn't work. There we go. And connection. And look at it. There we go. Come on, load. It's loading still, by the way. Yes, that happens sometimes. Sometimes a bit slow. Not always. Stop it. Not always. There we go. Linked. Right. Then it's going to show you your alarm panel. Just give it a few more seconds. You can also change the name if you would like to. I would recommend using the client's information if you're installing company, or if it's for your own house, then obviously put your address or whatever, or the business name, your name, whatever. Right. So there's your device. Pop your uncle. Right. So now going through the next little option. So as you can see on that device, just to quickly show you what other options you have. So on there, you'll be able to, like it's a little man leaving the house, that's for arming. And obviously you'll be able to disarm it as well. You have all that capability. So once you go into it, you also have different areas. So you can select multiple areas. You can also have your wireless zones that you've added into it. And again, this is on the previous material. So if you're unfamiliar with that, we are going to go through some of it. But if you're losing it, watch the first one, then watch this one, and then you carry on. Right. And it's on YouTube. For those of you that are unsure where that would be, it's on Hikvision South Africa YouTube channel. If you go on there and you put in Axpro, you'll find all the videos for the HIK-LEAGUE that we are busy on every week. All right. Did I miss something there? No, I didn't. That's fine. Okay. So adding. So very simple. You got two methods that you can do this with. One is, like we've said before, is when you power it up and you to the system and everything. Hey, Eskom, thank you. That just happened, guys. That just happened. Just give us a second. It's like every week there's something that has to go wrong in this country. Why? Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to carry on sharing if I could. Let me just try and switch this baby on. Thank goodness for generators, eh? Oh, great stuff. Okay, So while we're waiting for it, let me just quickly kill this one. Close. Let's see. Starting up. That was quite a short. That was like a heavy surge that went through. You could actually hear. It's not normal. Anyway, these things happen. Lovely. Let's just find our right page where we were lost. And let's see if we can share it with you guys instead of my ugly mug. I'm joking. My wife loves me. There we go. I'm just going to share it like this until the monitor is back up again for those of you that would like to see. So while we are waiting for it to start up, then it is starting up slowly, very slowly. It's warming up. It's there. It's almost there. Okay, let's stop sharing quickly and then we can put it onto the big screen. Share big screen. There we go. Okay, right. So as I was saying, thank you, Uncle Cyril, for the interruption. So we got two methods. First method is where you take the device, you go and add it through the phone. So it will give you that option to add your zones or add your products. And then it will tell you on that little thing on your phone to also go and power up the device, wait for several seconds, and then, you know, it will connect it. But some of you have said to me, you know what, Evan, what happens if I've got an old age home and I have to put 80 panic buttons? Why must I go and scan every single one? So I said, okay, fine, just power them all on. And then you go to this little option here. This little option will give you the capability of adding all those devices in that range area, and one shot, done, job finished. That makes life better. So again, less time on the installation, even though it's lick stick installation, these type of products, but you know, you get what I'm saying. Okay, moving on. If you've got any questions, please keep it off. All right, so on the products, as you can see, where's the little laser? Because now I'm looking at both screens again. So as you can see, you have different products from the normal PIR, they named it kitchen, panic buttons, door contacts, keypads, speakers. Each one of these devices will take a slot as a zone, if I can put it that way. Yes, there is 96 different zones, if I want to put it that way, but each one will take a slot. So instead of your traditional alarm systems, will you have an 8 zone, 16 zone, and etc. This will give you the capability of having 96 itself, but you can obviously select what devices that you want. So come on, if you think about it, you're not going to basically go and have 10 different keypads in one premises. You might have one. You're not going to have 20 different sirens. You might have two, one for indoor, one for outdoor. Remotes, the most that you'll have in any normal household would maybe be 4. If it's tags, it's a separate thing. That's, you know, to add the tags. So per user, well, we'll go through that. But when it comes to door contacts, panic buttons, and sensors and outdoor detectors, you know, etc. So again, to have more than, you're not going to be using more than 16 different zones for just those accessories. So if you sit with 80 zones left, that's still a big number compared to other products that are out there. And again, it's wireless. Okay, moving along. And then obviously you can see the little options there, what the battery life is. This specific slim door contact, the battery life is 3 years. The bigger door contact is 5 years. These PIRs are 3 years. The keypad is 5 years. Siren is, I think, was 5 years or 3. I can't remember so correctly. You can adjust the volume of this indoor speaker. The new one now, the control room can talk to that little speaker, to the client, and ask, are you okay? So you need some water? No, I'm joking. So they can ask whatever, you know, back and forth. So that opens up a whole different field as well through the system, and it's very easy to use. So this, on these devices, you'll be able to configure it, select whatever you would want. If you wanted a stay zone, if you want the LED on or off, whatever the case is. The door contacts, a lot of you still don't know about this. The door contacts has a little LED. Yes, it will indicate when you open and close the door. But if you stand by the door on the outside and you arm the alarm, look at the LED, it will indicate to you that it armed. big game changer. But anyway, this is not new. This is old. I didn't know about it. A lot of people else didn't know about it. But when I went through it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. All right, so moving on. So the next one is different areas. So areas are like partitions. It's the same thing. There's no big difference between different areas of partition. So if you have a house and a granny flat, you'll have maybe your house as area 1. You'll have your outdoor detectors, your beams outside, as area 2. You might even have your cameras, your 4 cameras that you've used for the AccuSense on the system. You'll add that to area 3. Then you go and put grandma and grandpa on area 4, which you will disable because they're going to just annoy you with the alarm system because it's grandma or grandpa. Which button do I press? That kind of thing. But you have the capability of having multiple different areas. So you can go and assign how many areas you would like as per that area. Once you have selected the area, and as you can see, you can go down that little list. You enable that little area. Once you've enabled, then you select which zone would you like. What do you want that zone to do? So if it's zone 1 and you've used it for, you know, the first one for the key fob, then you'll use it for arm and disarm. So you can select whatever you would like. So again, if you program a default with no areas, the remote will still carry on working, arming and disarming everything. But once you start changing the areas, then you need to go in and say what you would like it to do. So now for grandma and grandpa, for the granny flat, we have area number 4, and then we go and say that's going to be the remote for arm and disarm. Right, so etc., etc. So you can change it how you need it. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, and then obviously we link whatever you would like to link onto that zone. Repeaters, next headache. Right, so again, as you can see that this module is different compared to the previous quarter and quarter 2. We are now in quarter 3. Quarter 4 is on its way in the next 2 months or something like that. So in this quarter, we are carrying on with that whole theme. But obviously we've, like I mentioned again, we have introduced this, but now we're just going a little bit in. So I don't go through everything like it would normally be because we've already done it before. So now I'm just showing you the new stuff and the new operation. So very easy to understand this clip, because before people didn't understand how the repeaters actually work. When I went and said, okay, but there's other products on the market that also uses repeaters, ours works the same. The only difference is that the frequency bandwidth that we are using, the 868 megahertz frequency, normally transmits little code information. With our algorithm that we have more data packages that we can send with more data information over that language barrier. So it's the same as when you are transmitting information from 2.4 gigahertz to 2.4 gigahertz. That will be your Wi-Fi, your phone, so sending videos and pictures. And the same through 5 gigahertz frequency. This is just a lower frequency, completely a little bit different, but works under the same principle. So most companies will use that frequency in their products, but they will go basically with a transmission the whole time saying, are you on? I'm on. You on? I'm on. And they keep on talking back and forth. And once it goes into alarm, it says, I'm an alarm, you know, or I'm no longer there. So, and that's their protocol, and that's where it ends. With our unique protocol, we have the capability of sending images and video and voice and etc. over that frequency, which makes us unique regarding that. Right, so normal alarm panel that you'll have over there, then you have the repeater in the middle, and then you have your PIR. So if that distance, and we know that a normal PIR to the panel is 2 kilometers in an open range. If it is a big steel structure house or double-story house, yes, that distance is going to be reduced, but it still gives you a better capability than any other product that's out there that's wireless. The nice thing about the repeater, it's got its built-in battery. So you just plug in the 2-point plug, and there's no addition for a power pack or anything like that. So it makes life easy. All right, very easy to install. So the next option is that you can see here in this little clip, all the little repeaters and all the devices and all the little things around it. Now we're adding more and we're adding more to it. So now, as you can see, this whole thing just expands. So they can overlap, makes life easier. You can just think about the possibilities of how this just makes any installation just so much better. Instead of having a, like other products would do, I'm only talking to this one, and this one can only talk to that one. There's no need for any cables, no 6-core from the alarm panel to the repeater. This is just amazing technology, right? So again, just to showcase that, to maybe for some of you that are not too sure, if you have a certain area, you'll see that once you're closer to the panel, yes, it will be in green, which means it's strong. If you have a little bit green and yellow, orangey little color in there, then it's medium. And if it starts coming towards red area, then okay, it's a far distance. It's very weak. And if you get to certain dull contacts, it's just gray. It means it's offline because the communication is too far. There's too much interference. There's too much steel, whatever the case is, and that's why it cannot talk to the device. So solution is very simple, very straightforward. Put a repeater in. Once you put a repeater in, it will extend that range for you, making life a lot better. So this will just make such a big transmission for you, as well as the PIR cams and the outdoor PIRs as well as the smoke detectors and etc. Right. So very understandable, very basic, very easy to use. Right. Just to go through that, if you have that repeater and you have multiple different PIR sensors, once the alarm goes off and it snapshots the little images, this is the procedure that it will follow. It will send it through. So you're still going to receive it. There's going to be absolutely no big difference in it. And if you really want to count that little 2 microseconds, okay, you want to be like that and want to be like that, one of those people that want to count all those little figures, it's still going to be very quick towards your phone and notify you immediately that there's an intruder. All right. Okay, moving on. For that repeater, very straightforward. You can go into that repeater settings as well. You can change whatever you want to. You can check the signal strength. You can say, find me. I don't know why you want to find yourself. You're in your house. Okay, no, I'm joking. All right. Then relays. This is also something that hasn't been touched last quarter. We did mention it. We explained a little bit. There's even a video in before quarter 2, I think, or the beginning of quarter 2, where I actually took one of these little relays. Actually a smart plug, not a relay, smart plug. I took the smart plug. I had it on a table in the boardroom by me. I had a Hikvision light. I plugged it into it from my phone. I went and switched it on and off the whole time, which is just a brilliant little plug. Yes, if you're my wife, she would go and use it for a hair straightener before she gets home. Stuff like that does happen. Real life solutions. All right. So there's multiple different ways that we can connect these little devices. Right. So first of all, we have the wall switch itself. That is more for your big AC devices. So from your air cons to heaters to your lighting, your lights. Smart plug is there for maybe for like a bed light if you want to, but I don't see the need why you would to switch on your bed light when you're on your way home, because 90% of the time it means that there's no power at your house. So because there's load shedding, what's the point? But yeah, you get the idea. And then the next one is the relay. The relay will be able to unlock doors, open up your garage, open up your gate, turn on whatever you would like to. And again, that voltage will go from like a normal 12 volt to 36 volts itself. And it's a 5 amp device itself. So it makes life a lot easier. Yes, you can use that same one from an alarm system or any other 12 volt product and take it to an AC relay on the DB board itself. There are DB board switches that is from AC to DC. It needs a DC contact. So once the contact closes or opens, then it will allow the power to fall away, come back, the AC itself. So you can speak to your electrician. Those things do exist. So you are allowed to use it on your jacuzzi. You can. Invite me, I'm joking. So the next one is the smart plug. So if you want to switch on your fan, I would say this is more ideal for not, some people would say coffee machine, before you get home. But again, then if it's not a normal coffee machine, if it's like my coffee machine at home, you have to take the kettle. This is a sanitizer bottle, but anyway, then you have to put in the water, then you switch on the plug, then you put it down, then you go on your smart plug and switch it off, but the switch is still down on the, so you have to do that every morning. I don't see that working. So for If you have one of those percolator little coffee machines where, you know, then yes, I would say 100%. You can manually switch it on and off with your phone. But if you've got maybe it's winter time, yes, I don't have a jacket on. I'm sorry, I'm from KZN area, so yeah. So if you have maybe a hot blanket for winter time, and on your way home you can switch it on. So these are the type of ideas. Very easy, switch on, switch off. Right. Okay, moving on. On the relay, these are your little different options. Mine is very small. I can't see everything that's on it. Okay, the linkage. All right. So from the linkage to the serial to the name, you can change the name. So if you would like to, you can put in there jacuzzi relay or jacuzzi on off, you know, or gate motor or garage motor or I'm trying to think what else you can do. You know what you can do? You can use the smart plug to the Wi-Fi router in your house for the kids. Switch on. Okay, but then you're going to switch off your own Wi-Fi. Then you won't have connection. So don't do that. Don't do that. Unless you have the SIM card in your device instead of using the network. Anyway, okay. But there's a lot of ideas that you can do this with. Right. So it's up to you how you would like to change those options. I'm pointing at it, but I'm supposed to be doing that. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. Next up, right, two little devices. So the first device is our normal device as we experienced before, and we have discussed this. This little device gives us the capability of taking any wired device, any third-party program or product, outdoor detector, PIR, strip beams, whatever you would like to call them, and provide power and connect the normal, you know, connection for alarm onto it, and it will transmit wirelessly to the alarm panel. So this gives you that capability. So very nice. We do have a bigger model, and we also do have the ones with the lower frequency for the older models as well. All right, so this gives you the capability. So you can use the wireless door contact to transmit the signal if there is power on the device. But if there is no power, no 12-volt DC on the device, and you would like to give it 12 volt, this will give you that capability of doing that, using that product. Right. Next up is this little power supply module. Right. So everybody would go and look at this and go, wait, what? This is new? Yes, it's new. It's brand spanking new. It's available as well. This is a very nice device. I'm not going to go into those details, but let me showcase this one. Obviously, there's the connections. So let's quickly have a look at this connections before we go to that power supply module. So obviously on it, you'll have your zone, you'll have your tamper, and then you'll have your power. So you can have those connections up if you would like to. So as you can see, so if you would like to have different connections for arming and disarming, if you would like to. So the capabilities of it is really, there's a lot of options that you have on this. Right. Next up is that little power supply module. So as I explained, normal device for the Axpro will have 24 volts that goes into the device. Right. So a lot of places, these power, especially with Eskom, see, these powers are unstable or they are fluctuating. So what it means basically, the 220 volts AC fluctuates. So it keeps on dropping and creates problems, and it will constantly send you messages. So if there's like the different shipping containers or different applications where this is not working for you, you can have a normal 12-volt power supply and then use this baby onto it. So this baby will be able to plug in, and as you can see, this will grant you that capability of having a stable connection. So it will only use the 12. It will still carry on charging the battery on the device, but this gives us the capability of having a stable connection itself. All right, that is the DS-PM-1-D. Yeah, it's new. Okay, stop it. All right, a lot of naming rules, but anyway. All right, and then next up is the arming and disarming. So obviously as a user, you need to arm and disarm, and I mentioned this last week. Please do not call us, do not ask me, do not send me an email, do not go and WeChat me or WhatsApp or Facebook message or whatever you want to do. Do not say that, listen, I'll go to the keypad and I press the button to say disarm, and it doesn't want to disarm. Yes, it will not do that. You need to put a code into the alarm. Please stop it. Right, so you need to put a code and then disarm. And the reason why you need a code is because if somebody breaks in, they're just going to press the disarm button and then your alarm is off. What's the point then? All right, doesn't make sense. Anyway, so adding a person, you can put in his information, you can add a tag for him, you can add a key fob, that's a remote for some of you that are not sure what that is. So, and you can obviously select what options he have and what he's allowed to do. All right. So very straightforward. And then on the next page, as you can see, you can also link them. So if there's a specific area or specific thing, like a keypad for area 1, you can go and add the user, select him, and then select. But remember to put in the code. Please remember this. This is like really important because, yeah, it's really important. Okay, so very straightforward, very easy to use. Okay, moving on. Right, arming. So you can have that capability. Sometimes there might be some faults or whatever the case is. So you as the owner of that alarm with your HIK-Connect app, you can go into it and you can go and select which options you want. So sometimes some of the outdoor detectors don't make nice contact with the tamper button. Yes, that is reality because, you know, kind of like difficult because not all the walls are always the same. And this was more designed for a straight flat wall. But so it depends on whatever the situation is, or if you maybe have a zone that the batteries are low and you know about it, you are on your way to the shop, but you need to arm the alarm, then you have that capability of bypassing those type of things. So it gives you that capability. Right. So very straightforward, your decision, not mine. Right. Next up. Ah, look at that little Quinn. Sorry, little Quinn, one of our guys here went and put the little keypad in. Oh, thank you. I thought he didn't. Okay. Anyway, so when you arm the system, very straightforward. Your password, yeah, please, and then arm, you know, away, you know. So then you go. So that will be on the keypad, and we'll show that just now, right? And then obviously, if you would like to go and set up separate areas, again, password. You select the area and you say away and then done, right? So very straightforward. Same with the disarm. So if it's like normal alarm system with no partitions, you'll get there to the keypad. I don't know why people still put in entry exits. Maybe for a shop, I would agree. If you have multiple staff members, then the keypad will be close to the door area or maybe at the back area. But then again, you give them entry exit time. So the longer time you give them, the quicker time they have to you know, grab and run before the alarm goes off, before the cameras or before the arm response company gets notified and then send out the response. By that time, those guys are gone. So every second makes a difference. Anyway, but you do have that option. That's on the new keypad as well. Right, that's the new keypad, the one with the LCD. All right, moving on. So just to simplify that a little bit more, on the normal keypad, there's a little buttons away, your, you know, your stay arm, your way arm, your disarm. And like I said, don't just press it. You need to use the code and then press it, you know, your information, if there's any, if you want to switch on the light for the keypad or not. So those options are there, right, for the keypad. The keypad is mostly used in our country now for if your phone battery is dead and you can't find your remote to disarm the alarm, then you'll use the keypad. If you always have your phone and you are one of those people like me that always have it, you know, on charge, then you don't need that. And if you always have your remote and you always put your remote in the same location, and you don't go put it, yeah, tomorrow in this drawer, tomorrow in the kitchen, and then in your handbag, wife, then you'll know where your remote is. But anyway, in your keys, and your phone, and your husband. Okay, let's move along. I'm going to get in trouble here. Right. So a tag reader, same principle. You have those little readers itself, so you can have it at the door. So you scan it instead of putting a code in. Sometimes the code is a little bit dodgy because as you are punching it in, somebody can look at it. If you have your tag and you look after it, then you have that capability. Right. So next up as well as the key fob. So on the key fob, you can change these buttons around. It does give you that option. On the AX hub, it didn't give us any options. So on this, it gives us the option. So you can go and change it. So once you log into it and you go into the key fob, there are little options. So you can have button 1 and button 2. If you press them together, and it can be panic, as an example, silent panic. So whatever your option is that you want to change it for, you have that capability. All right. And then next up is the thank you. So went all right, even though we had some power issues. So after this, stay tuned. We will have the Q&A. And for those of you that are running away, thank you for joining. See you guys tomorrow. All right. Let me stop the recording here.